What is up, Spurs Nation out there on YouTube? What's going on? Got a couple people in the chat already. What's up, guys? Just first time running into this chat. Hopefully, we can do this more. Tried to do it last night a little bit more often. Last night kind of went okay. I did it once and then realized that there was no audio going through. So if you guys are out there and you are watching this chat, watching this live stream, and you can go ahead and get in the chat and let me know if there's any technical difficulties or whatnot. Basically, this is a first chat. I just opened it up so we can talk Spurs, anything DeMar, anything Raptors last night, anything about our G League guys, any questions you guys have. I'm open to take y'all's questions. So here it says error. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. Okay, so I need to get a better camera for this, I guess is what it means. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. It's 11:35 Texas time, and right now I'm on my lunch break, so I came home to talk to y'all. I'm just gonna talk about what's on my mind right now, and as the Spurs take a pretty solid win on the road last night. This road trip was pretty scary. I talked about it before. We had Milwaukee, and then we came back from Milwaukee and won against Milwaukee. And I think that win kind of set us up for success going into this road trip, that win against Milwaukee, because we played well on the road against Milwaukee, but when we came home and we got that W, I think that gave everybody a lot of confidence that just look at each other and they can be like, hey, it's time to get to work. We got it. We got something going here, something positive. Let's go ahead and move it forward. Cool. Y'all can hear me well. Good luck on your first day of class. We got to talk about Lonnie's minutes. I'm all about talking about Lonnie's minutes. I did a live stream last night on Instagram, and I kind of got into it. The whole Lonnie debate, Lonnie Walker and Marco Bellinelli, and why I think everybody's hating on Marco right now is not because we hate Marco. I think it's just because we love Lonnie. And I think we all want Lonnie to have more minutes, and that's where they're going to come from. Because at the end of the day, I don't want to trade Marco Bellinelli. I don't want to get rid of Bryn Forbes. Those two guys that are on a lot of people's crap list right now for one reason or another. Those two guys are extremely important. Those two guys provide shooting. Those are two best shooters on the floor. Not counting maybe Patty Mills right now, LaMarcus Aldridge. Those two are shooting most efficiently right now, but we know our pure shooters are going to be Marco and Bryn. And for the most part, those two guys are causing a lot of stress in the minds of Spurs fans, because we want Lonnie Walker to get those minutes, and he's earning them. Lonnie Walker's earning them. He's getting 11 a game right now. I think that's because he started off late, and some of those early games hurt his average, but he's getting about 11 a game. That's his average. But as of late, as of these last 4 or 5 games, Lonnie Walker's been out on the floor some nights 18 minutes, 19 minutes. So he's getting plenty of tick now, and he's earned it. Pop came out and said that he's paid his dues or whatever, and Pop's like that. I think that Pop is more like, hey, he's not gonna come in here and just be given minutes or be given opportunity, because you know what, when players, young people are given things, they take them for granted. All right, so we made Lonnie earn his minutes, and it's gonna do him wonders in the future. We all see it. We all see how good Lonnie can be, right? So we're gonna keep that up. Speaking of trades, do you think we are going to make any this season? No, I don't think so. unless something happens where DeMar DeRozan, and his group and his people and his agent talk to, you know, the Spurs staff and general management, let him know that, hey, he's gonna opt out. If DeMar DeRozan publicly comes out and says, hey, I'm not gonna opt into my final year, I'm gonna opt out, and I'm gonna test the free market. Well, then the Spurs need to look at it as a business decision, because which would be very unfortunate, because right now DeMar DeRozan's playing great. I don't want to trade him. I don't want to get rid of him. But if you were to ask me this about a month ago, I was really interested in that Orlando package, right? That Eric Gordon, Mo Bamba for DeMar, because there is a possibility, there is a scenario out there where a year and a half from now, DeMar's not in our team and LaMarcus is not in our team, and we don't get anything back for those two guys. So, it's something to think about, definitely. But I don't think we're gonna trade anybody. If there's really only one name that kind of comes to mind, that's DeMar Carroll. I mean, the guy that we just signed, the guy that can't get any minutes, the guy that can't see the floor. And, the Spurs have been on a pretty strict 10-man rotation. And he's not been in it. He has not cracked that rotation at all. And it'd be unfair to say, oh, well, it's because he's new. Because no, man. I mean, Trey Lyles is new. Trey Lyles made the starting lineup from day one, from game one. We decided we were going to go small ball and put LaMarcus at the 5. And instead of sliding in Rudy or DeMar Carroll, who's more veteran, been in the league for a while, into that spot, we slid in Trey Lyles. And I'm happy with Trey Lyles. There's games where he's a no-show, but that kind of happens to everyone, it seems like. There's games like where Bryn's a no-show. There's games where DeJounte and Derek are no-shows, or DeMar and LaMarcus. So it happens all around. But maybe DeMar Carroll gets traded, if anything. But I don't think so, because, like I said last night on Instagram, the worst-case scenario for me... Worst case scenario for me is, we lose DeMar, we lose LaMarcus, and Bryn Forbes walks at the end of the season without getting anything in return for him. That would suck, because we spent a lot of time developing Bryn. It's the same thing with Davis Bertans. It's like, man, it sucks that we had to see Davis go the way he did, but what sucks even more is that we spent years and years and years developing Davis. I mean, bringing him overseas to play in our G League, or in our summer league, not our G League, our summer league, when he was still overseas. And once he finally got here, we still needed a lot of development, and we spent our time, and then we lost him for nothing. And I don't want to see that happen with Bryn. Okay, so I hope that doesn't happen with Bryn. So worst case scenario is that LaMarcus and DeMar leave, and then Bryn walks, and then we have Marco and DeMar Carroll left as our only two real shooters on the floor. And I wouldn't mind seeing a package. What about you? This is Winston Churchill. What's up, buddy? Needs a haircut. Can't even see. But I wouldn't mind seeing a trade package out there with Marco and Lonnie for I'm not Lonnie, sorry, Marco and DeMar Carroll for something. Because I think there's a lot of teams out there. There's a lot of teams out there that need shooting, that need just guys who can spot up the floor. And there's teams out there that will play Marco and DeMar a lot more than we do, because we demand a lot out of them on the defensive end. And there's teams out there that aren't really gonna be that demanding on the defensive end. So they might be able to get ticked somewhere else, which makes them valuable. And they're still very good shooters. They just haven't been able to crack the rotation as of yet. But maybe soon. Maybe soon. Let's see. Good morning to everyone, Spurs Nation out there. Appreciate y'all joining in. If you want to support the show, you can always subscribe to us here on YouTube. You can subscribe to us on iTunes, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast jam on. We are there. Go to buckingspurs.com to check out our shop, our merch shop. Got some cool things up on there. Um, you can click the link below, and it gives you the link to tip a Bucking Spurs podcast if you want to support us in that way to help us, make the show better, get better equipment, just more content, more stuff, more production for you guys. Would appreciate that a lot. Helps me do the show when you click on that little link down there. All right, we're going to keep this one kind of short. We've been about it for about 10 minutes. We'll go for about another 5 minutes. Any more questions, you guys, just go ahead and drop them in the comment section below. Let me see. What else do I want to talk about right now? I want to take this time to talk a little bit about the guys in Austin. I'm going to do probably a whole separate video for those guys, but those guys are tearing it up. And I want to talk about just what I see out of the players and what their style of play is. Quindary Witherspoon is ready to go. I think we've known that he's been ready to go for a while. But Quindary can score the ball. He's very polished. When he attacks the rim, he's under control, always under control, and he's able to take over games, right? And Keldon is a guy that is going to give you every ounce of passion and energy he has in his body every given night. He's one of those guys who's going to change the game with his hustle and his effort. And I really want to see those two guys get some minutes, and it's hard to see them playing this year because the rotations are so short. The rotations are so short. Luka is a guy who's shown flashes of doing many things, but the things that he does very well this year is hit wide open pull-ups, 3-point shots off the kick. He's able to catch, attack the basket, and play make for others, kick out to wide open shooters and whatnot. And he's very, very good on the block. I think shooting the three and him posting up on the block is where he's getting most of his work done nowadays. But you can see that he has flashes of a lot of ability in his game. He just doesn't do everything that he can do right now at a high level, and I think eventually he will. He will be able to do everything at a high level. He has crazy bounce on underneath him, right? So he can get up. So he can shoot. He can finish at the rim. He can post up. He is a great passer. He can push the fast break off a rebound. So he's shown that he can do a lot of things. So I'm really excited to see Luka play too. So our guys in Austin are doing fantastic. Drew Eubanks, Chimezi Metu shouldn't be forgotten in that conversation as well. How will our road trip against the top East teams translate when we get back? Jai Burns. Let's see. Let's see if we can get that question answered by looking at the schedule that's in front of us. Let me type that out. My little Winston that you guys saw earlier is eating my backpack. And I don't want him to tear my backpack. I need that thing. Yes, boy, what's up? Okay, so let's look at the schedule. This road trip that we've been on, yeah, we played against some really tough teams from the East, like Toronto. I mean, it's not part of the road trip, but Milwaukee, like we just said before. Oklahoma City was... Let me see. Oklahoma City was at home, so that game I wish we would have won. But we went to Boston. We took care of business there. We went to Memphis and dropped another one. I hate that we've lost to Memphis 2 times this year. Can y'all believe that? We've lost to Memphis twice. One of them was on Tony Parker night, and that's just unacceptable. You know what I mean? Jeez. But let's see. Oh, yeah. Sports Talk Huddle. I was shocked that we won the last game or the game last night by playing zone defense. Yeah, we did. We went zone and everything changed. That's what the Warriors did in the playoffs against those guys. It's because they're streaky shooters. I mean, Fred VanVleet wasn't playing, so we were able to take over that game by making them be outside shooters, making them be smart basketball players. Because when you play zone, a defensive, if your defensive priority is to zone them up, it's because you're trying to get them to shoot more and take away their lanes to the basket. And we did that pretty well. Toronto had a hard time adjusting. And then on the offensive end, we would get that rebound and then go and push and score, right? So we were all over that transitionary break. DeMar took over. Spurs need to trade for Turner in Indiana. Indiana's Miles Turner? Is that his name, Miles Turner? Nah, I don't know. I like Jakob. What's up, Big Poppy? Spurs showing some heart. Damn right they are. Damn right they are. They're finally playing with some energy and some heart, and that's kind of why you guys are saying like, oh, like what about trades? And just about a hot month ago, trade packages were rumored left and right, concerning DeMar DeRozan and stuff. And right now, I do not want to let him go. I do not want to let DeMar go. I really wish we can keep this going. We finally are getting something good going, and I mean, if LaMarcus is going to keep shooting threes and stretching the floor, I want to see him stay. And they're finally playing with some heart. They're finally playing with a swagger and an attitude. And I think a lot of it is because of these lineups are finally paying off. I mean, these lineups have not been successful for a long time, yet the Spurs organization and coaching staffs keep putting in the same lineup game after game, and I think they're starting to turn a corner. Why did Pop play Lonnie Walker less minutes? Someone else was hot. When Lonnie doesn't play a lot, it's because DeMar DeRozan is having a hell of a game. Because Lonnie comes in for DeMar. You know, the bench goes like this. Derek White comes in for DeJounte Murray first. Then you see Patty and Rudy Gay come in for Bryn Forbes and Trey Lyles, and that leaves LaMarcus and DeMar on the floor, and they play with that second unit a little bit more, which resembles a lot of last year's playoff lineup. But then here comes Jakob for LaMarcus and Lonnie Walker for DeMar. So if DeMar is having a hot game and gets a lot of minutes, like in that first quarter, where he plays maybe 10 out of the 12 minutes in the first quarter, that means that Lonnie's minutes are going to be limited. You know, they'll play together a little bit throughout the game, but for the most part, that's who Lonnie's coming in for. Unless the lineup changes and the lineup dictates that we need more. Miles Turner. I like Miles Turner, man, but I like Jakob. I'd rather have Sabonis than Turner because Turner and Jakob are kind of similar in the way that they play, and Sabonis can get buckets like LaMarcus. So if LaMarcus leaves, Sabonis would be nice. Be a good fit. The Faded Warrior asks, he's having a brain fart right now, but do we have a true center? Jakob's our only true center, Jakob Poeltl, and Drew Ebanks, our 2A guy with the G League, is another really good center. But no, I mean, look, man, when we had Pau Gasol, he was our true center, right? And we had Pau and LaMarcus playing together a lot, and that really didn't work out all that great for us. We tried playing that too big lineup, you know, while everyone was zagging, we tried to zig this way. Everyone was going small. We stayed big. But I think the true center isn't demanded in today's basketball anymore, in the NBA at least. So big men aren't really at a premium right now. We don't really need a true center. I think LaMarcus playing at the 5 and being able to stretch the 3 is gonna enable everybody else to play well. Yeah, I'm not saying that I think, you know, Sabonis is gonna get traded or even let go or whatever. I know he just signed a new deal this year. But if it was between him and Turner, I'd take Sabonis. Just because we had Jakob. If we didn't have Jakob, I'd love Turner. That'd be great. But I like Jakob. He can do a lot of things with the ball. He's smart. He's a little bit smarter. Those Miami games should be fun. Yeah, those Miami games should be a lot of fun. I don't know if you remember playing them in the preseason, but those were fun games too. Tyler Hero's for real. Jimmy Butler and them are playing very, very well. So what do we have next? We have one more game on the road in Miami. Then we're coming home for 2 games to play Atlanta and Miami again, right? So we'll see Miami 2 out of 3 games, right? Then we got 2 more on the road against. Then we have 3 games against Western Conference teams in Phoenix, New Orleans, and then Phoenix again. So, to answer your question, what are these games going to do for us moving forward? These games that we're winning on the road, it's going to give us confidence that hey, we can actually take our defense and it can travel, because usually that's the hard part, is having a good defensive team and making that defense show up on any given night on the road. At home, it's easier because you have the fan support, you have all that stuff. But on the road, we've been able to battle. This game against Toronto, we've been able to come back. We from now on, we can say, hey, down 18 points, in the first half, game's not over. We can still come back and win this thing, and that's what the Toronto game did. And then the game against Boston, I talked about on the pod. What that game did for us was that we can go up and have a lead, and now we know that we can have a lead, and we can take some punches from the other team, and they'll go through some runs, and that's fine. But we can still play well enough to not give up that game. Holding a lead in the NBA is not easy. And we had a lead in the first quarter, and we held it all the way to the fourth. Of course, with a lot of shenanigans there in the third quarter. If you want to hear all my take about all that Boston stuff, make sure you go, you click the link and go listen to the podcast, or find the video of my last podcast in Boston against Boston. But then we go into Memphis on the road, and then we see that we can lose to a crappy team, on the road as well. So we know it's about consistency. I think this road trip has given us some confidence that we can still win games on the road. Okay, so I think, the tough part of this month is almost behind us, really. I mean, I was really scared of this little 4-game road trip, but 3-1 right now, can't complain. Or 2-1 right now. Because then we have Atlanta, Miami, Phoenix, New Orleans, Phoenix, Toronto, Chicago, and then Utah, right? And that's the rest of January. So I feel confident about playing the Bulls. I feel confident about playing the Suns twice. I feel confident about New Orleans, even though it's at New Orleans. If we lose to Toronto at home, I wouldn't be surprised. And if we lose to the Utah Jazz at home, I wouldn't be surprised. We just got to defend at a high level like we've been doing. We've been playing a lot faster, which has been leading to us playing a lot better on the defensive end. All right, so that's going to be it. I got to get back to work. Got to start shutting this down. So make sure that you guys subscribe on YouTube. Make sure you share this video. Make sure that you tip on the link down below. That helps us out a lot here at Bucking Spurs. Or go buy some merch on buckingspurs.com, and that helps out too. So appreciate you guys for tuning in this group chat. It's the first one, and be the first of many. I really appreciate you guys coming back. Go Spurs, go. We'll catch you on the next episode.